from Luke chapter 5. I shared with you how Peter, as he was cleaning the net, this is strange man, 30 years old, walks into his boat and started to teach. He worked all night, didn't catch any fish. He was tired and wanted to go home after cleaning up the net. But then this young man asked him to go into the deep water, which is, I guess, more than 100 yards. Row it back into the deep and throw his clean net back into the water. But according to his experience and his rationale and his, all his profession says it doesn't work. It's not going to work. But because Jesus says so, Peter said, because you say so, I'm going to try. And then he goes to the deep and throws the net, and then he catches so much fish. And then he calls the other partners, the boat, and then asks them to come. So 2 boats filled one net full of the fish, but those 2 boats were so full they both were sinking. And then at that moment, Peter kneeled down in front of Jesus and says, Lord, leave me because I'm a sinful man. Encountering Christ is an awesome experience. I shared with you my experience. It's incredible to know there is God. And it's incredible to know He loves you. It's an amazing thing. He loves you. I don't know how many of you know Henry Lau, the Super Junior guy. Anybody know Henry Lau? Yeah, do you know that he was my church member when I went at the capstone? He was in junior high and senior high. He was attending my church. But he was cast by the who is it? JYP or whatever the guy, and then he was brought to Korea and then joined the Super Junior as a 16th member or 13th member or something. And he was having fun. Now, I don't know, he's, I guess, riding that fame or something. But anyways, knowing somebody great and knowing that that person loves you is an incredible thing, incredible experience. And I had that overwhelming experience. And Peter had this overwhelming experience because, according to tradition, Peter was older than Jesus. And this young man asked him to do something that he doesn't like to do because he's tired, he worked all night, and according to his 30-some years of fishing experience, it's not to go to the deep end to catch fish. He knows Galilee, Sea of Galilee, like his palm. He knows where every corner. Yet he just decided to listen to Jesus and try it, and then miracle happened. So guys, I don't know, some of you might not believe in Jesus, but I really want you to listen to the message and try praying. I learned Jesus by praying. One time I was going to school and I was late for the bus and the bus passed by. So I closed my eyes and I said, God, please send me the bus so that I won't be late for my school. And then I opened my eyes and there was an empty bus. Because I don't know what happened to this bus, but because the previous bus just passed by, there was no customers, so there was an empty bus full of seats, and I sit in that bus and I was able to arrive to school, no problem. But being a guy who kinda, regularly coming out late, I don't know, maybe I didn't enjoy school that much, but I experienced about 3 times. Whenever I pray, God answers my prayer. Sometimes people say it's a coincidence, but you cannot have a coincidence 3 times. And that's very unusual coincidence. What I like you to do is, I want you to try praying. My friend had epilepsy, and when he was in high school, he would keep falls in the middle of class or in the hallway, and I told him, he said, doctors cannot heal him, there is no cure. And I said, there is a cure. If you come to church and let Jesus take care of it, it will be gone. And he says, well, he didn't want to believe, so I bought him a couple of lunches and I asked him, come to church Friday meeting with me and just see what God has for you. And he visited one time, and Friday really, that night it was so bad. He says, I'll never come back to church again. So I go, I went to school. I bought a few more lunches to him, and then, developed that friendship, and I asked him, please try one more time. Okay, so he finally came, and then, he came to the retreat. He experienced God. I knew he experienced God because when the preacher was preaching, and after that he asked us to pray, and we were praying, and we were all praying. We were sitting down and put our hands, on our knee, and we were praying, and he was doing that too. And then the service is over. I mean, the prayer time was over, and he's still sitting there like that. So I know something is happening. Either he fell asleep or something is happening. And I came early in the morning. He's still same position. I go, oh, but I still picture that because I was so desperate for him to experience God. And that morning when I came, I thought he fell asleep, so I touched him, and then he stood up and looked at me, and his face was glowing. And ever since that time, he never had an epilepsy symptom. Now he's an elder at the Westside Church, but I want you to experience God. He's not fake. He's not there to collect your offerings. He's real. That's why I spent my life, and I'm going to continue to spend my life until I live, until I die. Please try, because He's awesome. Those of you who are Christians, look at it with God's eyes. I'm almost, I'm not going to tell you my age. They say I look 40 something. Do I? 50 something. Anyways, these days, because of my kids who are married, and I'm going to marry this year, and another one kind of ready to marry, but don't have a girlfriend. So, but his age, and everything is ready, but no girlfriend. But looking at my children, last Christmas my son came from Hong Kong, and my second daughter came from Winnipeg, and everybody was gathering, and looking at the family members, it looked beautiful. When God said, where there is two or more gathered in my name, I'll be there. And God says, without faith it is impossible to please God. And then He said, where there is a gathering, you must believe two things. One, there is God in your presence. And second, God rewards those who seek Him. So God's gonna reward every one of you. It's not a warm, sunny Sunday, which could have been a big trouble because people will go to Greenfield rather than. I love winter because cold winter is good because they sit indoors so that we'll have more crowd. But God loves His children coming together in worship. And that's why He gives a promise. When you gather, I'll be there. And second thing, I will reward you for coming. Whenever you come to church, whenever I call God's name, I call with expectation. Because He said if we seek Him, He will reward us. He will reward you. I don't know whether it's a physical healing or relational healing or financial healing. I don't know what you need from God, what would be blessing to you, but God promised He will reward you. Reward is not a punishment. Reward is a blessing. So He will bless you. Trust that. So encountering Christ is so important. That's the beginning point. And then yesterday and last night I shared with you the experiencing Christ. Apostle Peter experienced Christ when he said to Jesus, if you are the Lord, let me walk on the water. And then when Jesus says, come, he stepped out of the boat, get out of the boat, and start to walk on the water. Walking on the water is an awesome experience. I feel living a life in its fullness is even harder than walking on the water. Trying to live a Christian life in this, corrupted world is harder than walking on the water. And in order to walk on the water, in order to get out of the boat, we need three things. First, we need faith and trust in the Lord who is on the water, standing on the water. And we need commitment. Be willing to lay down and deny our experiences and our ration, and be willing to commit. Commitment is very important. And then, those two are important, but it's very important for you to actually take an action. Step in. Trust and try. Yesterday I talked to you about giving tithe, right? Think about it. Try it. You don't have to tithe. You can still go to heaven. God still loves you. So don't be pressured. But what I'm saying is, you try it, then you will know. Your faith is going to get deeper. Your relationship with God will be skyrocketing. It's going to be. I experienced it. I'm telling you as a witness. There is a lot of people in this room who experienced that life. Because without commitment, you don't enjoy, How many of you did bungee jumping? You guys don't have commitment. If somebody tie you with a rubber band, your ankles with a rubber band, and ask you to jump 100 feet, it's very hard without commitment, right? I mean, it's not only, what you call it. In Korean, it's 백장 or 깡, but in English, I don't know what that is, right? It's not only guts, come on man, I can jump. Like, that's full. So many people die, and so many suicide, you don't know whether it's a suicide or accident of somebody trying to show off, right? It's because some guys want to be cool and they just say, I can do it, when, things happen. But it takes commitment to be able to jump, get out of the boat. And in order for you to be able to commit that, you need to be able to trust the one who asked you to commit. And again, taking action. It says Peter got out of the boat and stepped on the water, and then he was able to walk on the water as he is focusing on Jesus. That actual part is important. Try it, then you will know. When Israel people were crossing the desert, Sinai desert, after they were freed from the slavery of Egypt, Moses, after 40 years, Moses died, and Joshua became the next leader and leading 2 million people into the promised land, but there was a Jordan River. Big, wide Jordan River. And they were seeking what to do with this river because it's hard to cross. And then this is what the instruction of God says. God says, take the ark of the Lord and then step into the water. Step into the water. Well, it's flowing. If we step in, it might, just, swipe us with the flow. But God says, step in. When the people who were carrying the ark stepped in, Jordan River split to seven different angles, and water stopped flowing. So they were able to cross on a dry ground. Well, all right, you need to take action to experience God. So, I told you about, try that tithing. I think money is the most serious stuff, sensitive matter, but it's something that really works. It really proves. So, I told you, I'm not saying this in any other, there is no any ulterior motive. I'm not going to make money out of your tithing. What I'm saying is, as I told you yesterday, if you want to have ownership of your church, you have to take the ownership. If your child is not being educated properly, you have to hire a good teacher or a good pastor for your children. Who's going to pay for that? You have to pay for it. You cannot say, oh, 장로님, could you pay for it? When your child at home is having lack of education, would you call your father and say, pay for my children's education? You don't do that. I have to move, or I have to go. Oh, somebody does it. Don't do that. Don't do it, okay? You take action. You have to pay more. If you want to move to a better place, you have to pay more. If you want better house, you have to pay more. It's not, oh, somebody going to pay more so we can go to better place. I really want you to take the ownership of this church. This church is your church. And it becomes more solidly your church when you pay for it. This ministry is your ministry when you pay for it. Experiencing Christ needs commitment. It takes your energy, it takes your thoughts, it takes your commitment of time, it takes commitment of finance. It takes a lot of commitment. But there is a reward. Everything you give to God, God says it's lending to God, which means God will pay you back. Jesus said He will pay you back 100-fold, 100 times. And today's passage, it talks about joining Christ. I titled today's passage, Encountering Christ, Experiencing Christ, Joining Christ. I went to Florida a couple of times with my best friend. And it's much better traveling with best friend than traveling alone. I was in the first year in university, my father bought me a brand new car. I made a big mistake at that time. My father was so proud of me going to U of T. He said, I'm going to buy you a best sports car. He took me to Pontiac dealer. He showed me black Trans Am with gold stripe. I'm talking about 1977. We don't have a Trans Am now. At that time, Trans Am was better than Viper, okay? Viper didn't even exist. Okay, so my father said 6.6 liter. Oh, wow, that is no bigger engine than that, right? And my father said, you're going to have that. And I said to my father, I'm just a university student. I cannot pay gas for 6.6 liter engine. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't have that. I told my father, I need an economical car. Please buy me that small, compact little car. And my father was amazed. My son, you are so mature, so, and he came, from best car, he went to the cheapest compact, and he says, now this is going to be yours. But I thought it was okay, because it's an economical car, and I can go in and out, and wouldn't care much about somebody scratching or something, so I didn't mind. But the problem was, I didn't know. It was my three younger brothers, it's all hand-me-down, right? Whatever I wear, they wear. Whatever I use, they use. And my youngest brother, like a couple years ago, I don't know, they never mentioned that, but a couple years ago, said, he says, Hyung, if you had the Trans Am, all three brothers would drove Trans Am. But you had that junk car, all three brothers drove junk car in their university time. I go, oh my, I have sinned. I felt so bad. That was another mistake other than the dream that I shared with you yesterday. But with that junk car, first thing I did was I took my two other friends and went to Quebec, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and to the Bar Harbor, and then Boston, and I just made a big circle at the beginning of the summer vacation. And I thought I was traveling with a good friend. When we went to Quebec campground, we were kind of lost. We arrived around 1 a.m. and it's my brand new car, so I drove it. I didn't want to other guys ruin it, so I drove it. I was so tired, but I told them, when we go camping, you guys set up the tent, and one makes the fire, I'm going to cook. But I drove all day, and I finally arrived, and I said to guys, I'm so tired, let's not cook. Let's just cook ramen, and let's eat and sleep. One guy who was in charge of the tent, he says, you told us you're going to cook 된장찌개, and we're going to have a wonderful meal when we arrive at the campground. I go, but it's 1 a.m. I'm tired. And he said, no, if you not do that, then I know that the rest of the schedule will be whatever. I want to go home. I want money back, and I want. Oh, I was so, from then on, he was not my friend. But so we had to make a 된장찌개. That was bad because I had an accident because I brought MSG. Those times MSG was the best thing. Right? Now we know it causes cancer or whatever, and they don't like it. But at that time it was the best thing. 3 young boys can cook. a tasty meal. So I tried to put MSG and the cap fall off, and half of the bottle poured in the, and the 된장찌개 was the best tasting 된장찌개. There's so much the boost of MSG, but anyways, traveling with who is very important, and you have the future, beautiful future ahead of you, and who you're going to travel. Finding a beautiful marriage partner is very important, but more important than is the one who has control over both of your life, who has control over all your environment, all, not only environment, but whole city, whole province, whole country, whole world. Today, disciples, I find when I read this passage the first time, I thought Peter was such a dumb guy, because he already experienced Jesus, and he, in this passage, John 21, it's about Jesus being rose from the dead and revealed to his disciples already twice that he has risen from the dead. So it's incredible news. Somebody defeated death and conquered the death and died the sacrificial death and completed his work, so that everyone who believes in will have a forgiveness of their sin. And this is an incredible thing. But what Peter says in today's passage, he says, I want to go fishing. Is that the best he can do? I thought he's just saying, I want to go back to my old life. I have nothing else to do, so I'm going to go back. And then the other disciples said, hey, we want to go with you. So they all join. And then they all go to the fishing. And then what happens? All night they couldn't catch not one fish. And then in the morning, Jesus appears at the shore, and then he asks these guys, friends, have you had any fish? And then they all say no. Then what does Jesus say? Go into the deep end. He doesn't say that. He says, throw your net. Take it out from one side and throw it in your right side, and you'll find some. And then they pull the net, and then they throw it in the right side, and then they catch such a large amount of fish, they couldn't pull into the boat. He says they dragged to the shore because he wasn't that far. Then, as they were dragging, the Apostle John says to Peter, it is the Lord, the one risen. And then what does Peter do? He took off his outer coat, but he wrapped it around his waist, and then he jumped into water, swimming to Christ, who is at the shore. And then he finds Jesus already cooking the breakfast. And as the boat arrived, Jesus says, bring more fish. And they cooked breakfast, and Jesus feed the bread and the fish to the disciples. And breakfast was done. I'm going to go to Israel end of February, and I'm going to taste the Peter fish. I tasted it last time I went. It's deep fried fish. It's not. I don't think it would be the same as the way Jesus cooked on a bonfire or something. But anyways, Jesus finished that, and this is the thing. After he finished the breakfast, he brings the Peter in front of him, and he asks 3 questions. But 3 questions are the same. Peter says, do you love me more than this? Jesus asks Peter, do you love me more than this? And then he says, yes, I do. You know that I love you. It's because Peter denied Jesus 3 times. When Jesus was captured and persecuted by high priest and Pontius Pilate. During that time, Peter denied Jesus 3 times. So Jesus wanted to reinstate, re-strengthen Peter's commitment and faith. So that's why Jesus asked Simon, do you love me more than these? He asked 3 times, and then Jesus answered almost same question 3 times. When Peter says, you know that I love you, he says, feed my lamb. And then he says, take my sheep. Take care of my sheep, and then feed my sheep. They are all, we don't have to think differently. It's just saying, take care of my lambs, my sheep, which is same thing. But one that's the important thing is, Jesus didn't say to Peter, did you repent? Your denial of me. Are you ready to serve? Do you remember everything I taught you? Are you able to lead people? Are you good with speech? Do you have talent and gifts and leadership? He didn't ask all that. He asked just a simple question. He says, do you love me? In order for us to join Christ, most important quality we need is having a heart full of love for God, love for Jesus. Rest of it, Jesus can equip you if you have a heart. Because Jesus loves and really respects us, He respects freedom of choice, our freedom of choice. He respects our heart. He doesn't force our heart to love us. That's why loving Christ has to come from our faith, our commitment, and from the devotion of the Word, and from prayer, and from growing faith. But Peter says, I love you. You know I love you. And then Jesus says 3 times. And third time he knew. Jesus is asking the same question 3 times. He knew. Jesus is remembering that he denied him 3 times. So he answers in a more sad way. He says, Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him 3 times, do you love me? So Peter said, Lord, you know all things, and you know that I love you. And then Jesus said, feed my sheep. Jesus is saying, join me. This is what I'm doing. Now I want you to do it.